Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and glides and slides across the floor.
Come on. I mean, how fun is that? Hello, what's going on? It's Carson. We're doing the Filmstruck Film Club. We watch a movie every week. Me and this guy here, Groot. We're watching movies all the time, and it's October, so we're watching scary movies. The movie we watched this week is not very scary, but maybe it was. If you were watching this movie in 1958 in the movie theaters, maybe it freaked you out. But I found it to just be a campy, wonderful B movie with a huge movie star right at the front there. Yeah, we watched a movie that I've been wanting to watch for a long time. There is a remake of this film that came out in 1988. And I saw that when I was a young man, and it scared the shit out of me when I was in, fourth or fifth grade or whenever the hell I watched this movie. But we watched the original. We watched the 1958 original, directed by Irvin S. Yeaworth Jr. That's right, we watched The Blob. The mother effing Blob, folks. That fun song that was playing at the beginning, if you've never seen this movie, there's a great title card sequence. And this funky little groovy theme song written by Burt Bacharach, believe it or not. Beware of the Blob. And it's just a really fun little song. Put it on your Halloween playlists for if you're having a Halloween party or something. But yeah, I'd been meaning to see this movie for ever since I knew there was an original. I think in Greece there's like a moment where they're watching this movie. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, man, it's just a ridiculous little romp, and I kind of was expecting it to be like bad, and I don't think it is. I don't think it is bad. I think it moves really well. I think the story is fun. I think the monster is great. I think the special effects, even though they're cheap and cheesy, are totally effective and totally gets the point across. I mean, yeah, I'm able to see the seams a little bit, but that's part of the fun. I think knowing that they made this movie for like 120 grand or something like that, and they made I read this. I'm gonna just read it to you because I think it's so cool. The actual Blob, the stuff you see on screen, the gooey human eating mass. Check this out. The actual Blob, a mixture of red dye and silicone, has never dried out and is still kept in the original 5-gallon pail in which it was shipped to the production in 1958 from Union Carbide. What? You're telling me that for the last, 70-ish, I'm not good at math, 60 plus years, this freaking blob has just been a blob? Why isn't it in the Smithsonian, and why can't we all touch it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, this movie's great. It really is. I mean, you got Steve McQueen, and I forget her name, but there's Steve and Jane, and they're like up at Lover's Lane or something at the beginning, looking at shooting stars, and of course, boom, this meteor flies by and hits the ground, so they gotta go check it out. But they ain't the first on the scene, are they? No, there's that old man. And what does he do? Something you probably should never do. He starts poking the alien meteor with a stick. I don't recommend doing that if you ever find a meteor and there's goo coming out of it. I don't recommend poking at it. But how great is that special effect when he's got it dripping on the stick and then he turns it over so because you're like, oh no, it's gonna get on his hand. Boom, he flips it over, and then they do this great special effect, which I think is just something that they like played in reverse. Something, it was on his hand and it dripped off. They filmed it that way, and then boom, they reversed it. And so there's this great shot of this blob going onto his hand, and you're just like, ooh, creepy. But yeah, this freaking blob just gets redder and bigger the more that it eats people. And of course, I love how the police in this movie, they not only don't believe Steve McQueen, but they can't get over the idea that he's trying to pull a prank on them. The one cop is like, yeah, right, you're just trying to get us to fall for it because you're messing with us. And I'm like, is that really a thing that was happening a bunch in the 50s where teenagers were just like saying, there's a murderous monster over here that killed the doctor? And they're like, yeah, right. like I'm gonna go over there and get fooled by a bunch of teens, which is just a funny dynamic between these kids and the police. I'm sure there's some, Cold War metaphor going on that doesn't matter, quite frankly. In the long run, it's like metaphor schmetaphor. It's a fucking blob that's killing people. And if we don't stop it soon, I don't know what we're gonna do. There's this great part towards the end where the blob is like fully covering the diner, and they get that idea to like drop a power line on it to electrocute it. And I watched that little sequence and I was like, is this an animated sequence? Is all of a sudden they're like a hand-drawn thing? I didn't do the research, but that's what it looks like. And I hope that's what it was, because I thought it was pretty cool. I also love I hope you don't mind, I'm going to spoil this B movie from the 50s, but when they get the idea to spray it with the fire extinguisher, the CO2 one specifically, don't bring me none of that foam crap, they freeze the blob, and that's what kind of shrinks it, makes it more manageable. And then it's got this great moment right at the very end of the movie that I don't think they were anticipating to be like a satirical, sarcastic moment, but they get this idea to drop the blob off in Antarctica, where it will never thaw out. And somebody asks, like, is that really going to work? And I think Steve McQueen says, like, well, as long as the Arctic stays cold. And then, boom, you see it, like, they drop it with a parachute onto the Arctic tundra, and it says, the end? ? And it's kind of wild to be watching this movie in 2022 being like, if the Arctic does go away, which it kind of is, the blob's gonna thaw out and he's gonna come kill everybody, starting in Chile, baby, because it's nearby. I don't know. Maybe somebody should make that sequel where like, oh, global warming happened and it released the blob back into the world. That would be fun. Yeah. I love our October picks. I really do. I don't watch a lot of scary movies in my own life. So I look forward to this little chunk of the year where we crush, 3 or 4 classic horror films. Yeah, we're going to watch another one. So I hope you're in the mood. The spooky season is totally here, y'all. So if you have a HBO Plus, whatever they fucking call it, HBO Max subscription, the Blob is there. So go make a big old bag of popcorn, throw it on at night, and just have a good time, because it is a good time. I mean, I the whole time I was like, I'm totally invested in this stupid movie, which therefore makes it not stupid. Am I right? Can I get a high five? All right. Yeah, guys, follow us at Filmstruck Film Club if you want to keep up with these picks. We're doing them every week, so go check it out, and then come back here and let me know what you thought of the movie. Go ahead and leave me a comment. I love interacting with you guys. So yeah. Power to you. Hope you got your Halloween costumes picked out. I sure don't. Say what up to the goon. And yeah, I'll see you around.